What is up? Welcome into Attacking Third. I'm Lisa Carlin alongside Darian Jenkins and Allie Riley. We are coming out of the U.S. Women's National Team match against Japan. It just concluded, and we're going to talk all about it. Reactions, about the match, individuals, player performances, who stood out. We're going to predict the 2027 Women's World Cup starting 11. So get those receipts out to circle back in a summer from now to see how we did with that one. But thanks, everyone, so much for hanging with us. If you're live on YouTube, drop your comments in the chat. We want to hear from you if you're listening as a pod. And if you're on Galazzo Network, hey, what is up? D, Allie, how are you, ladies?
Hey, Lisa, Darian.
I feel like I have to say, hey, what's up, ladies?
Yeah, hey.
You have to now. It's so good to be back hanging with you guys. Allie, you are always smiling so brightly. You're always bringing the joy and the glow, but I feel like it's a little brighter now after some news out of New Zealand because your girls, they're going to the World Cup. Congratulations.
Yes, I'm so excited. Obviously, we're here to talk about the US and Japan and the game, but have to shout out the football ferns qualifying for the 2027 World Cup with a 1-0 win over Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, of course, will still have a chance to qualify in a inter-confederation playoff, but so excited that the girlies are going to Brazil.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited for them. Katie Kitching, the one that got the game-winning goal for New Zealand.
Great player.
I'm so happy for you guys. We had to give you some love to talk about it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the shout out.
All these teams, right? They're going to be at the World Cup, hopefully, right? Competing next summer. So it's good to get some love out there initially for the New Zealand gals. Shall we talk about the US though? Because holy cow, we're coming off of this game that just concluded. The USA takes down Japan 3-0, closing out this 3-game window with 2 wins and that 1 loss over Japan. But it was a huge response, a bounce back win after their 1-0 loss. And it is 3 goals and a shutout. The goals coming tonight from Naomi Girma, Rose Lavelle, and Kennedy Wesley. Yes, that is 2 center backs scoring goals. They can do it all. And it becomes the largest margin of victory for the U.S. over Japan in their last 10 meetings. But Darian, we got goals, we got fun, we got excitement, we got a different starting lineup. What did you think about this?
Oh, finally. Guys, last match was brutal. That was a tough one to cover just because it seemed like such a lack of chemistry, almost a lack of confidence, especially going into the final third. And we finally got that tonight, albeit mostly from set pieces. I think there was about 30 minutes in the second half where the US had this influx of just attack of quick transitions. It felt like vintage US women's national team that we were watching for a little bit, and we finally got that. And something that I loved that I think is the biggest marker of this was a perfect series for growth for the US and such a good test is Melissa Ortiz was talking on the broadcast about in the second half, the US came out with conviction, whether it was getting corners, whether it was defensively, their counter press was so good, which we all loved. It just looked like they finally remembered who the hell they are, and they were on the attack. So I love it. We're ending on a win in a series of 3. They look so confident, and I think, we're going to get into that later, but we're really starting to see who Emma Hayes has full trust in for next summer.
Speaking of which, what did you guys think about the metaphors, the food, the Michelin? I baked cookies because Emma was hungry. Like, okay, I got the taste, the appetizer, I got a decent main, but I need a big dessert. So I made cookies, and obviously that's why they won. But
Allie, that's hilarious. I heated up some cookies as well. I had cookie dough I made last week, and I made a cookie.
They were talking about food the whole game, from the pregame, from the press conference.
I was going to say all week. Since Tuesday, she's been talking about food and cooking and restaurants. I've been hungry for days.
No,
I like the metaphors that she does because she's such a human when she talks, right? And I think she shows us so much of her personality as well. Like, to me, I was like, okay, Emma Hayes is a bit of a foodie. I've got to start asking her, like, where she's going to eat, what she's trying out. Like, that's what it also tells me about her.
Yeah. And I think too, she is speaking a language that is getting the best out of the players. And like Darian said, they came out with conviction, and Emma said at halftime, I needed to see belief for them to remember who they are. And it's working. So I think that's really cool that this coach, when I saw the stat of how many games she's actually coached, I feel like there's been a lot of games in actually a short period of time because the US does play so often, but there have been so many players coming into the environment, and that's not always easy to know how to communicate when you're bringing in players for their debuts, different players getting caps and all of this, but she's found a way to really get the best out of any group that she brings in. So even if they don't win, but I think like Darian said, what a great way to finish off this window. And you have all these teams having qualifiers, different games that hold different weight for different nations. And this was everything she said it would be for the US. So I think despite the disappointing game a couple days ago, this was the big dessert.
In a window where there weren't qualifying for the US, they could have gone and played some lower ranked, lesser opponents. Emma Hayes knew what she wanted to get out of this, and it was development of these players. And that's exactly what she did and what she gets out of it, plus ending on a win and ultimately winning the series with 2 wins and just that 1 loss. But the changes, as you're mentioning, Allie, and how she's able to communicate with players that don't have caps, or you look at someone like Sophia Wilson or Tierna Davidson, who have been out for months, she has calls with them to give them updates as camp is still continuing and the team is growing, so that they're not totally left behind for months and months on end, which also allows her to have more changes to the starting lineup, because she did it again in this game when Emma Hayes rolled out with her starting 11. All changes again, except one player, Claire Hutton in the midfield, the only similarity of players that stayed over from the Tuesday game. So in goal, it was Claudia Dickey. Across the back line, Giselle Thompson, Tierna Davidson earning her first start from her ACL injury, Naomi Girma, Emily Fox in the midfield, Claire Hutton, Lindsay Heaps, and Rose Lavelle. And then up top, Alyssa Thompson, Sophia Wilson, and Trinity Rodman. Now, if you're watching this, I said the names a little differently than maybe they are up there. I said them in a 4-3-3. We got a 4-4-2 here. When you look at lineups, who's on the pitch, formation, Allie, can you break it down for us a little bit? What is the US? What's Emma Hayes doing here? What is she trying to do? What did this lineup tell us?
What we think we know from watching these games is that the US presses in a 4-4-2, and you see the front two pivoting, getting, I think through the 3 games, really good pressure on Japan. I think actually that was something that we've seen improve across She Believes and then in this series. I think it's a very, very effective pressure. And I think against Japan, those were some of the best opportunities for the US because Japan is so compact and so organized. So winning the ball from pressing, getting an attacking transition, especially when Sophia Wilson was involved, or set pieces. In possession, I would still call them a front 3. And you can hear Julie Foudy and Luke referring to it as a front 3. But then you see Rose Lavelle popping up in lots of pockets. And I think because Rose obviously is so good at playing that free role, but also how good this team is in filling in spaces. How often did we see Giselle? I think Julie Foudy called her Alyssa because you saw what you would think was the left winger coming down that left wing, cutting inside. And it was Giselle because there is a freedom. You see Foxy inside when Trinity is wide. And so in possession, what makes them so dangerous is, sure, at any moment you could take a still frame and say, this is a 4-4-2. Sometimes it's a 2-4-4 because the US is good enough to build in that too, with 2 holding midfielders in front of the center back. So I think it's very hard to suddenly to say what formation they are, to pinpoint it exactly or to pigeonhole it. But I still see this when we look at the players and their strengths and the personnel, and we will be naming who we predict our starting 11 will be when the US plays in the World Cup. But I think we're still calling it a 4-3-3. I don't know. Darian, what do you think?
When I saw the lineup, it don't matter. Emma Hayes has now created
a monster.
Whatever she put out,
it's
gonna change. It's gonna change shape. It's an amoeba. Lavelle can float wherever homegirl wants to go because she's that brilliant and can read the game so well. And I love that. And I really loved this midfield tonight. That's what I was most excited to see with Hutton. Once again, give homegirl her flowers. She was stand out to me amongst throughout the 3 games in the center of the pitch. starting with Heaps and Lavelle, I think that is so strong. And to watch the fluidity of those three, I think is what determines the formation of how the U.S. is either building out with its 2 6s, or hell, all three of them are going up into the 18 to try to get something on the end of one of those crosses, which need to be better for the U.S. moving forward. But I do think it is an amoeba, but it's all dependent on how Lavelle decides to go forward or come back or just hang out.
Yeah.
Whatever she's going to do, it's going to work out for the team.
And then it's just a ripple down effect and everyone else kind of fills in behind her. So, okay, Dee, you're giving some love to Claire Hutton and Lindsay Heaps. That was only the second time they've ever started together. Crazy. How do you rate their performance?
Okay. I'll say a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was great. The U.S. should be scoring more. I think that's the only thing I have coming out of this game is there were so many chances created, so many set pieces, so many corners that there should have been more goals. Hutton hit the crossbar. Mm-hmm. Heaps kind of takes on a different role as well when Hutton and Lavelle are on the pitch. There's just a lot to still work on, but it was still great. Like, I mean, there's not much to say that's bad about it.
Even with that front line with Alyssa Thompson, Sophia Wilson, and Trinity Rodman, this was only their second time starting together as that front three. The first time was in game 1 against Japan. So as though it's like not an inexperienced lineup. These players have caps. These players have time together, but not together on the pitch in a starting lineup. Did you like the changes, Allie, that Emma Hayes made, knowing, I mean, she's talked so much about, I'm going to make changes. And from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, is this, you think, where she wanted to end up with this third lineup? Do you think she had it laid out before, or the changes came after watching game 1 and game 2?
It's so hard. That's what makes it so hard also to, not to read in too much to each of these lineups and how much playing time each player got, because everything feels so intentional about what she does. And obviously we know that Sonnet had picked up a knock, and then we have Kennedy Wesley coming in instead of an Emily Sams. And then the goalkeeper situation, I thought that Fallon had the number 1, but to still be rotating. So of course your mind, and that's our job, ladies, is to make these judgments and make predictions and try to make sense of all of it. But obviously we don't know exactly what the plan was. Was there 3 lineups? I think a lot of us assumed after those first 2 games that there would be a third lineup based on performance. And I think now afterwards, knowing that I think the U.S. for that really good period went for the jugular, got the goals, and everyone can go home happy, then we're saying this was great. We had inexperienced players get so many minutes, and now we saw some combinations. But I do think this will be the last time. Again, I'm not sure how often now in the calendar we will see a 3-game series, especially against the same opposition. But I think now it was exactly what Emma wanted it to be. I think we saw players get opportunities. I think we saw players get to play together. And then in game 3, I did think we got some insight into what this lineup could look like, bar some players coming back, some players being injured. Sonnet didn't roster, but I think we got some clues. And I do think that players, based on their performance, what they can learn, especially from game 2, Emma wanted this to be treated like a knockout game. That wasn't good enough. The ball not getting put into the box, being down 1-0 with a few minutes to go. So there will be things to learn, but also all of those things Emma has to be ticking away, saying, okay, this is informing my decision for when we get to that moment in a little over a year's time.
I feel like Emma Hayes has been doing that, trying to form like assessing everything since day 1, right? I feel like she is so intentional about everything that she is doing, whether it's in training, who she calls up in camp, who she puts on the U23s and captains the U23 to then
she has a
back.
plan.
She has a plan. Nothing she does is haphazard. It comes back to that recipe at the Michelin star restaurant. Like, she has a plan that she's following.
And so it's many courses. It's many courses, everybody.
It's no laminated menu with pictures numbers. It's details in there. So what worked? What didn't work, Darian, across, of course, these 3 matches, but mainly tonight for US? And what do you think is Emma Hayes being like, yes, and nah, maybe not so much?
I think what was so great about tonight is there was such an opportunity for overcoming a loss. That's where you learn the most about a team.
Mentality.
Yes, that mentality, that grit, that emotional regulation of, in the second game of the series, I think we saw almost panic, the anxiety coming of we're about to lose this game. How do we get the ball up? What hot potato, what's going on? It was as if everybody took a deep breath and said, let's remember who we are. We know how to problem solve. We can do this. And we finally got to see that on the pitch. And I think that's what was so great from match day 2 to the second match to this match. Mm-hmm. So I think with the experience coming in, giving Hutton the nod once again, Claudia Dickey getting the start is huge. It's all signs of confidence and trust. And to see these players have that trust in themselves, that they get it from Emma Hayes and they feel secure and are able to still try things and not freeze up because it is so easy to seize in those moments. That's the biggest win that I think is coming out of these 3 matches.
Mm-hmm. I think there was so much more urgency and conviction and everything in that the team did from minute 1 of this game, especially just compared to the last game. Every pass was purposeful and there was zip on it, even if it was just the back 4 working it around. Whereas on Tuesday, it was a little more lax at times and a little more like, okay, we can control this. And this one was, no, we want to control every single minute of this game. It looked a little bit more confident of this group as well going into this game. Allie, is there anything that you think didn't work for this group in this game that they really need to go back to the drawing board or fine tune, especially as they look ahead to World Cup qualifying?
Oh, I want to focus on Japan a little bit. They used, what was it? 21 of their 23 players. They made a lot of subs each game. They showed the depth of that roster as well. They're coming off of a, 6 games in the Asian Cup. They're coming off of traveling. So many of them play at these top clubs in the WSL. And I kind of like they're qualified and how they chose to rotate and they showed this composure and
so
really
good.
Just seemed so unfazed for so much of these 3 games. And so I want to give credit.
Even have a head coach right now.
Right. Oh my gosh, yes. And of course that would have been
crazy.
so disruptive and so distracting as well. And so I think I want to talk about that just to give context to the US and how they're playing amazing players. They're playing a top team, a team that Emma said could be contenders to win the World Cup. And what I liked about this game, I thought game 2, we're a little bit generous saying the US struggled with the conditions, but then didn't really say Japan was playing in the same conditions. Whereas tonight there was the cold. And I think that Japan actually, they were missing a lot more passes in the middle third than you usually see. And I'm like, I don't think it's the conditions. I think that the US were more confident. I think their pressure was better. And so that margin of error for Japan to connect passes, you had Tierna coming so strong when a forward would try to come off the front. Tierna was right on her back. So any touch that went a little bit in front of the forward, Lindsay Heaps came through, slide tackle, bodied, won the ball. And then Sophia Wilson stayed centrally this game. I thought she was brilliant making runs into the wide channel. But tonight she stayed more central alongside Rose in a lot of situations. And she showed why she is a 9, why she isn't a winger, because she is so dominant. The way she can turn back to goal when she drives at center backs and how she's deceptive and her shot forces goalkeepers to make saves, which leads to corner kicks. And the US, that's the one thing I'd say, Darian already said it, have to be more effective on all of those set pieces, but still we're successful from them. So I think that was my little TED talk.
I'm here for it. This Japan side deserves all of their flowers. 9 changes again. Talk about a team with depth, a team that problem solves, has made the US lose. Not many teams get to say that.
Shut them out.
Shut them out. Like this is
Yes.
such a strong side. And yes, I do agree, Allie. I think the counter pressure from the US was 10 times better tonight and so much more confident. And that is why the US ultimately got the win over Japan tonight. They were suffocating them. There wasn't anything they could do to even get the joy out of the ball that we usually see with Japan. So credit to Japan, credit to the US. Yeah. I can't wait to see this matchup again, hopefully in the next few months, even before the World Cup. But I would love to see it at the World Cup as well.
Oh, that's going to be
I think we could. I think we could.
We could.
We very well could. It was a mouth-watering series between these two teams, and both benefit from it, learning from their mistakes. For Japan to get a win, I think that shows that the U.S. still has some work to do, right, going forward. And if they want to win a World Cup next summer, they still have to continue to build, and all the work that Emma Hayes has done is just the tip of the iceberg of what has to continue to grow and develop with this group. But Japan, a very talented side with a lot of depth that I bet they're pretty pleased leaving this, knowing that, I mean, not with this game, but knowing they got to win. And also, okay, now we can work on things before we go to the World Cup next summer that Japan is going to do. But the U.S., they got the win 3-0. Over Japan. We talked big picture. We're going to dive into some individuals.
I know. I'm trying not to get too specific because we're gonna really get into it.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to pick everyone apart. Stick with us right here on Attacking Third. everyone. Welcome back to Attacking Third alongside Allie Riley and Darian Jenkins. I'm Lisa Carlin. We are chatting the USA versus Japan. The USA got a 3-0 win over Japan. Allie, are you eating your cookies? What kind did you bake?
I needed the break to be a little bit longer. I only was able to take one bite, but we have continued to talk about food. So they're sitting right there. I can smell the freshly
What
baked
kind are they?
cookies. Sugar cookies with sprinkles.
Oh,
yum.
fancy. Okay, well, stock up
Hey.
to you, Allie. Stock up to you and your cookies and what you've made. But we're going to do some stock up, stock down, player ratings up, player ratings down from the U.S. women's national team for these overall 3 friendlies. Let's start stock up. Player ratings that have gone up. Darian, I'm going to start with you because you're giving me some eyebrows over there. I see that. I
was reading through the comments. Foxy's getting a lot of love, and I love that. I don't think she lost one 1v1 battle this entire time.
No,
her stock continues to rise. We don't even need to mention her in this.
Yeah, it's just steady. It was already here.
Yeah,
it's just like this is the top.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm shocked she continues to get better and better because she's just incredible. Like, she literally can't get by her. Stock up.
And so good at defending all different types of forwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what is really impressive because 1v1 defending is an art. And as someone who had to do a lot of it, there were still some types of forwards or wingers that you're like, okay, I like the ones that maybe try to cut inside or love to try to push it past you. It doesn't matter with Foxy. She's so good. If someone's trying to do a lot of moves, if someone's really, really technical, if someone's fast, they can't get by her. Doesn't matter.
Shout out to Funky Old Medina, said Foxy flying like a G6. I love that.
That's a good reference for my generation.
You're right.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Okay. Emily Fox, you're up there. You're not. Your stock
She's
is
as high as a G6.
Yeah, you've broken the stock. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
First for me,
we need
Claire
some surprises here.
Okay, well, Claire Hutton's first. It's not a surprise because I've just given her flowers
but
the whole 3 matches.
Was given a big
getting her at the captain's armband, starting again tonight, staying on the pitch the longest of the midfield. Like, incredible a force, I think, not even in just our stock ups. I think in Emma Hayes' stock up, stock down. She is
more importantly.
Yeah. Who cares what I think? But Claire Hutton is just a force to be reckoned with and continues to elevate not only defensively. I thought she looked so strong in these 3 matches, but also on the attack.
Yeah.
Her ability to play balls forward. Sometimes she had one where she hit the crossbar and I'm like, how the hell did she even get up there? I thought she was the 6. Just so good. Yeah. Lindsay Heaps, to me, stock up. I think for a minute, people were questioning, is she going to be there next year? Is this sort of her last run with this team? Is this the generational changeover that Hayes is bringing her in for? Homegirl said, I'm going to be there and watch this. I'm about to be there. She's so important. It's a different team when she is on the pitch. She leads. She doesn't do all of the flashy things that maybe we spoke of Lindsay Heaps about 3-4 years ago. But she has that calming leadership presence that everything's going to be okay. And she is the mindset that I think with some of these younger players that don't have that experience, she can bring that. And Emma Hayes even talked about that she knows what Lindsay Heaps can do in a World Cup. She doesn't know what other players can do.
Exactly. With Lindsay Heaps, I will say, Dee, when she came on in the second game against Japan, she brought such a energy that was so locked in and focused and she had the will to turn that game around and get another goal.
Urgency that was missing.
Everyone around her, but everyone's level immediately went up. And to me, that's when I was like, her effect of being on the field is not just everything she does on the ball and off the ball, but it's like the ripple effect of changing the mindsets of the players around her. And that is what you want at an international tournament. That is the type of player.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we're about to watch her play in a semifinal with Lyon. And when we watched them turn around the result after the first leg, you could feel that so much of it was through Lindsay Heaps, even though that is a stacked roster in that Lyon team. There is something about, again, it might be an intangible quality, but there's something about her presence and her mindset, the mentality. She is a winner, that it felt like she was leading that comeback.
Yeah, she looks like she was at home tonight too. It was cool, guys, seeing her play in Colorado. I can't wait. We get it so soon in the NWSL. All right, Dee, keep going. Who else performed?
All right, I'm just gonna do 3 and 3. We went crazy on the rundown and we're throwing out a ton of names. Well, the last player that I'll name, I'm trying to pick. I'll go with Sophia Wilson. To me, I think there was a lot of question of her timeline.
Mhm.
Is she gonna fall back into the form she was in? What's gonna be different? She looks incredible. Sophia Wilson, that is her position. To me, there's no question. Maybe, yes, she hasn't scored yet. It's just a matter of time. Her ability to hold the ball up, break pressure, break on the dribble, make those runs in behind, the layoff passes. What's so different about her as well that we've been missing in that 9 position for the US is her directing where she wants the ball to go. She's one of those players that's so smart where she's making the run inside to out, telling the player on the ball, play it inside so I'll get the second pass, as opposed to going straight end line. No one else is doing that on this US team until she came back in. And to have somebody that strong and confident, knows exactly what's going to happen, can anticipate at that level against Japan is just lights out. And I want her to get a goal. It's going to come. Don't worry if anybody is stressed about that, because she just looks so confident and strong and back in form, and also just smooth. Like she has a swagger on the ball that not many 9s have, that type of balance. And yeah, she's like a prototype to me that I think forwards need to look at, because that's her position. No question.
Sophia Wilson, a year or 2 years ago, if she played in 3 games and didn't score and got the chances that she had gotten in these 3 games against Japan, she would have been frustrated, but she doesn't look frustrated. She looks so calm. She looks like, I know it's going to come. I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I can. And that to me is such a maturity in Soph that is now we're seeing with her when she's back after becoming a mom. I mean, there's a change in her. She looks amazing. She is going to be a better player than she ever was before she went away for maternity leave. She is going to be amazing.
Also, you would have thought that she got a goal tonight when Germa scored.
I
reaction.
That's my Stanford love right there. Stanford love right there. All right, so we gave some love.
Stanford.
A lot of people just got some love there, Allie. Who else? Stock up? Who else?
Okay. Well, I know one person I'm gonna save for you to talk about, Lisa, but Kennedy. So we got to talk about Kennedy Wesley. Again, we had Stanford center backs, we had Stanford love, but that's not the only reason I'm going to speak about her. I think, again, we had lineups planned, we had things change with Sonnet picking up that knock, but for Kennedy to get that nod over other options, I think speaks to what Emma is seeing in her. It speaks to what she's seeing when Kennedy plays for San Diego in the league. And same thing tonight when Tierna subs out, who comes in? It's Kennedy. And what did she do with her opportunity and with her minutes? Well, she got a goal and an assist. So it's 2 thumbs up and stock is up. Hey. And then I just also want to briefly, I know this has been part of the conversation since when we saw the roster come out, but just to remind everybody here, we saw Jaden Shaw and Tierna Davidson come in to this roster without having played 90 minutes. And I think seeing the time that they got, and again, there are a lot of options with attackers here. This is something that we're gonna get to later in the show, who maybe is being pushed out. But we're seeing that both of those players are part of Emma's vision. And I think we saw that from the roster being named, and we saw that across the 3 games. So I think they would be feeling pretty confident, and there was nothing there that would have made either of their stock go down. I think especially with Tierna, I already mentioned how I thought she played really aggressive off the front. I thought her distances were really good. Japan isn't the fastest team, but I thought she found that good balance because the US did get caught out in behind a couple times in the first 2 games. And that didn't happen tonight. I thought her distances were great when the ball did go over or in behind, able to turn and just either make a tackle or let the ball go out of bounds, whatever. Great positioning. So I think those are 2 players that for a lot of people, a lot of fans wouldn't have known that they would have been first names on this roster and two players that would have played the minutes that they did, given the competition.
I love when you talk center backs, Allie, because it's so fun to hear your perspective about it. I want to give some love to Giselle Thompson, guys. She looked great in these 3 games. She looked so confident and good on the ball, both ways, right? Defending and attacking. And we see her do it consistently with Angel
on both
City.
sides too.
Yes. But yes, that's the craziest thing. They were talking about it on the broadcast. They asked her, do you want to play on the right? Do you want to play on the left? And she said, wherever my sister is, I want to play. Like, are you kidding me? She's great on the field. She's great with the media. We love her. We love you, Giselle.
It's Thompson time, baby.
I think her stock and her ratings went way up after these 3 matches against Japan for Giselle Thompson. She looked great. And that left back position was open for the taking. And Giselle Thompson said, I want it. I want that left back position. I'm also looking at the goalkeeper position because this has been a huge question mark. Stock up for me, Claudia Dickey. She looked great. She commanded the box. She cleanly grabs the ball every time it comes to her. Her athleticism is so remarkable, but it feeds into her confidence as well. But then with the ball at her feet, they used her as a 3rd center back at times, as a 5th defender at times, just to keep the ball moving. And it was quick, 1-2 touches, sharp passes. She had good timing of line breaking balls to find Claire Hutton popping into the seam. She looked great, and she executed with the ball at her feet too. I was very impressed with Claudia Dickey in these 3 games.
Yeah, Claudia Dickey, man, talk about aura. Talk about aura. There was even a pass where she played it straight on the line. I think it was back to Foxy that I was like, oh, but she's so calm, cool, collected, suave. And I think her clearances, even she doesn't second guess, which I think we saw Fallon do quite a few times in the second match. She doesn't second guess of, should I just clear this or should I try to take a touch and play out and see what happens? She makes her mind up. Better be safe than be sorry in that position when you knew that Japan was pressing at moments. I think I agree. She just solidified that she is confident under pressure and she can handle it. And it's a huge nod from Emma Hayes. So
huge nod.
Huge nod.
Up. Stock up, 2 thumbs up for Claudia Dickey. All right, what about players' ratings that maybe went down, Allie?
But this is what's so crazy, because for every position, every player that we're saying that they have gone up in our minds, but in Emma's eyes, because of the role they've been given, the number of minutes they played, the times they started in this series, means that that's someone else who then isn't. So you just talked about Claudia Dickey. So what does that mean? Does that mean Emma still doesn't know? Does that mean that position is up in the air? At this
more confused than ever.
Yes, at this point to rotate, because if you had said Emma's going to play 3 different lineups and going to have more experience, less experience, a mix, I wouldn't have been surprised if the one position that did not change was the goalkeeper, because that is not unusual. And you think about the number of games that the U.S. goalkeepers of eras past. Think about the Alyssa Nera. You don't rotate. And every time they're on that field, every save that they make, every time they communicate, you learn how to play with your center backs. When we're talking about new players coming in and transitional phases, if you know your number one, you aren't necessarily doing that with the goalkeeper. That's just from my personal experience with teams I've played on. So this, to me, has to mean there's something, if, of course, we assumed that Fallon was looking like the number one. So that's on us. But it does feel like it's a little bit that we're here now. I don't know. Are we here?
I think that Fallon's,
are they neck and neck?
I think that Fallon's stock went down a little bit in this camp. With her performance against Japan on Tuesday, it made some mistakes that I think shook her confidence. And also the same way, I think you're right, Allie. Fallon probably started a little higher above Claudia in this one, but Claudia went ahead, right? It is so neck and neck. But there was a moment in the game on Tuesday where Tullis Joyce came out to punch the ball and she kind of like half-ass punched it. And I was like, That's so dangerous. You can't punch that to the top of the 18 on a corner. You have to get it out, get it away and away from danger. And it's small moments like that, especially against a team like Japan, a team in World Cup that is going to hurt you on a moment like that. And you can't do that. You have to be a goldfish. You have to have a short memory and just bounce back. So to me, a little bit stock down for Fallon Tullis-Joyce in this camp.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I'm gonna list out my players for stock down. I had 3. Lily Reel, Emily Sams, Olivia Moultrie. And not because I think they had poor performances. I think Lily Reel struggles 1v1 when she's going against somebody very, very crafty. I think it's not even that it's the first misstep. It's the quick recovery that I think got exposed, that a Giselle Thompson has over her, or an Avery Patterson actually has over her, which was shown in this camp. Emily Sams is the other one. I think it's more of a question of chemistry with those around her than her play. And other players like a Kennedy Wesley we're seeing tonight with fewer minutes is doing better and more effective. And Olivia Moultrie, I think it's more so the positioning doesn't get the best out of her when she's on the wing with this national team. It doesn't suit her. You don't get the best out of her. Those are the players, if we're looking ahead, stock down.
Same thing, Allie, you were saying earlier, that shout out Funky Old Medina in the chat, because Kennedy Wesley's stock went up, which might mean Emily Sam's stock also went down in terms of the relationship that you're talking about, Dee.
Yeah. What also is so interesting is that we are talking about this from the angle of kind of who would start. I think this conversation starts all over again when now you're talking about who are your impact players. Because there is someone that you might not, you're saying, okay, their stock went down now as a starting fullback or as the front 3. But who is going to be your best player off the bench? And these are 2 different characteristics.
Very different roles.
Sorry to just throw another spear in the works, but I think we were all thinking of this from kind of this angle of who got the start and how did players perform under a longer period of minutes. Whereas that can be a very different player as someone who you need for 10 minutes when your back's against the wall, and it could be about mentality. It could be just a little bit of something special.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do that soon. We'll do that another time.
And even the mentality side of it, right? If you have 2 players that are maybe equal on the field, who's bringing better vibes in the locker room, right? Who's going to be that positive teammate that is going to be okay not playing a single minute at an international tournament, but make everyone else around them better, be that player in training that lifts everyone else up. That is a big factor in all of this. But lucky for us, we don't have to make those decisions. We just get to talk about them and put our names on them. But we do get to pick a World Cup starting lineup, because after 3 games, we now have some decisions to make. Stick with us. Attacking third is spinning it all forward next. welcome back to Attacking Third. We are spinning it forward, giving our final thoughts on the U.S. women's national team, and we are picking our starting 11 for the Women's World Cup in 2027. Caveat, as of right now. So as of right now, the World Cup starts tomorrow. Who is our starting 11? If you thought we had fun in the first half of the show, just wait till this segment. All right, well, let's start in the back because Darian, you're still not fully filled in that front line yet. So we'll get to you in a second. Allie, we're going to start with you. Start in the back with our goalkeepers and our defenders. No pressure. You have a World Cup to win.
I mean, I've found myself in a bit of a pickle now, but you said tomorrow. You said tomorrow. So if we are playing tomorrow, and when I say we, I guess we mean the US, not New Zealand. So that was weird. If the US is playing tomorrow, it's Claudia Dickey in goal.
Yep.
Giselle Thompson on the left. We have Girma and Sonnet and Emily Fox. And I feel really, really confident about that back four and two great options at goalkeeper. But for me, Claudia Dickey gets the start tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with Claudia Dickey getting the start in this back line.
Now, what about the others? You don't like the others?
So I'm gonna make an argument for Tierney.
Sonnet rested today, so Sonnet's ready.
She's ready tomorrow.
If starting tomorrow, Tierney Davidson can't play more than 45 minutes.
This is true, but she could start and play 45 minutes. But that to me is a position that come the World Cup, I could see it being Naomi Girma and Tierney Davidson in that center back pairing. That is a pairing that I really think.
Rules, didn't you?
I'm always changing the rules, Allie. You got to stay on your toes. You got to stay on your toes here at A3.
No, it'll be great to see how Tierney, and this is what a luxury playing in, arguably one of the best leagues in the world, and Emma watches every game, and we'll see how these center backs do, including Kennedy Wesley.
So you have Sonnet and Girma. You're sticking with those two.
I do. Yeah. Yes, I am. Good try.
No. I like that one. No, it's good. I just wanted to make an argument for Davidson because I think that she could find herself back in that starting lineup. Even just the 45 minutes we got with a little bit of a head injury in this final game, but she was still able to play. She just looks so good on the ball and she looks so confident. And the more time she gets with Gotham and consistently work her way up to 90 plus minutes, it's going to be dangerous. Okay. I like this. I like this for Fallon Tullis-Joyce in goals with Claudia Dickey. And because I like Dickey in there right now, even though PTJ might've been a little higher. Okay. I'm going to give you my midfield, guys. I also thought this was pretty easy after these three games. I'm going with Sam Coffey in the 6 with Lindsay Horan and Rose Lavelle.
I don't think Coffey would get the start tomorrow.
You think it would be Claire Hutton?
I think it would be Hutton.
I don't.
After these performances, what Hutton can do in the attack is an equal asset to what Coffey does defensively.
Is Claire Hutton ready for the pressure of a World Cup?
Hey, she's wearing the captain's armband
tomorrow. Yeah.
She's wearing the captain's armband. She's playing minutes in heaps.
I love Hutton in this midfield, but I just don't think that it's a starting role for her right now. I think that it is a captain's armband when she can come in off the bench and maybe play 45 minutes or get some starts in games at the World Cup. But in the biggest games and the starting lineup, I don't think it's hers yet in the center.
I don't know.
I think when we're talking about stock, and we're going to keep finding ways to squish this in because we had so much to talk about in that segment. I think that the fact that Emma did say, I wanted to see Lindsay and Claire play together again. If it was already decided, you wouldn't need to. Same as kind of my line of thinking with the goalkeeper. So it definitely really caught my attention. But man, I love Sam Coffey. That's going to be too. But well, Lisa, you had your pick.
Yes.
So now let's Darian go, and we get to debate her choices.
Oh, now you guys can yell at me. Okay. This is if the World Cup was tomorrow.
This is wild.
This is
actually wild.
Lisa made the rules. I'm trying to follow the rules here.
Most teams haven't even qualified yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay on track.
Including the US.
I know.
Yeah, they haven't even qualified.
But the player that I'm struggling with fitting in here is Kat Macario. She's not in this camp. So she's not in contention right now. Okay.
Yes, no, we'll
Sophia Wilson at the 9. Sophia Wilson at the 9.
Love that.
Trinity Rodman on the right, albeit I don't think she had her best camp. And the left to me is the most open position, and I am caught between Alyssa Thompson. I know. I think Alyssa Thompson looks great when Giselle is with her. Oh no, she's fainted. Give her a cookie. Somebody give her a cookie.
Get her a
Giselle
cookie.
will be. She will be. Because I picked the back line.
I don't know if
thinking?
Alyssa, I don't know if anyone on that left side yet. I'm caught between her and Jaden Shaw have proven that consistently they can produce there. In high pressure, when the game is challenging you against what you think is going to happen, who problem solves better between the two of them?
Oof. They give you different things.
I know, and I might say Shaw. I might have to go Shaw, but then Alyssa's getting the starts. Alyssa is getting the starts.
Alyssa is one of the most dangerous wingers in the world. Jaden is amazing, and I would put Jaden on for the last
as an impact.
Obviously, because she's damn good in that role. I'm not saying she's not good as a starter, but
it's a different role. And Jaden Shaw adds a punch. It's like a 1-2 punch when she comes on the pitch late in a game.
I will say
it's tough. It just depends on what the game is asking. That's the same conversation I'm having with Kat versus Sophia. I think it very much depends on who the opponent is. So I'm going to give Alyssa the start. My front 3 is Alyssa, Sophia, and Trinity for right now. If it was tomorrow.
Okay, what if Katarina Macario is available and in good form?
Well, then I'm going to say put her in the midfield and send Rose to one of the wings and let her float. Let her and Kat both float. And
she really said amoeba formation. Do whatever you want.
Amoeba, we're a lava lamp. It's a simulation. Figure it out.
I just want to add one thing here because of how attacking Giselle is and because of this amoeba freedom. I do think that we see Alyssa playing less of the traditional winger role with Giselle. I said it earlier, Giselle is the one who is coming down the wing. Right. So that is where I could see that really, really suit Jaden Shaw.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think we know who's going to be there, and that's Rose Lavelle.
Yes. I would say there's some locks that we have on this. Who has cemented their spot? If you want to list off some names.
Wasn't this who we think has cemented?
Yeah, it will be it's all of them, all these people.
Definitely all of those people. I think that again, it's Alyssa, Kat, Jaden. Those are the 3. Darian are just trying to fit into one position, kind of. So I think those other 2, whoever's
into one player.
Yes, yes. What a player that would be!
Oh my god.
And then I mean, what are we thinking about someone like Michelle Cooper, who I think you bring, because before she had an injury, I think you could count on her for an assist. Her crosses, she is so dynamic. That's again someone who, if we're thinking who we think the front 3 might be, plus or minus 1 here, I think Michelle Cooper is someone who didn't play as much now, but is so dangerous. Mm-hmm. So we have some players here that I think we know. So there's so many attackers. I can't even.
I will say I think the left side is just the question marks though. But even left back.
Even the left back.
Even left back. I think Giselle's great. I think she's still a very young player.
Okay, I agree, Darian. She's a very young player. Who's contending with her for that spot right now?
I actually think Avery Patterson is a player. I said this last A3. We don't give her enough time. Mind you, when she first flew onto the scene with the US, she was electric. Her crossing, her 1v1 defending, she was up and down the pitch, she was dribbling inside, her combination play, she was assisting. Then she got injured, she's had knocks, she got sick. And now she's playing on both sides, like Giselle. Giselle is definitely the front runner right now, but Avery Patterson, I think, is someone you cannot write off. I think she's sneaking up closer to just be in that second spot and trying to get into first. So
over Lily Real right now, right? So
but I also think that it just comes down to chemistry. Like you said, when Alyssa and Giselle are on, Giselle's the one that gets into the attack. If Avery's the one there, it's probably Alyssa has a little more freedom to just go 1v1 and shake and bake like we see her do with Chelsea.
I don't know, guys. See that. I would love.
I don't want Emma Hayes problems.
Consistent minutes with Avery Patterson and Alyssa Thompson on that left side. That would be fun to see.
Also, what an amazing problem to have. And these players would start for pretty much any national team. But also, if Mallory Swanson comes back and girl, do whatever you need to do for your body. Number one. But what Sophia Wilson has shown is, and especially what Emma was saying, and you mentioned it, Lisa, about staying connected with these players. So they're very dialed into the principles and what the team is doing. And now there's been a lot of teams to follow and analyze and feel involved. That's another player that was obviously part of this Olympic gold, responsible for almost all of the goals of the US team. And that is just another option that comes into this, someone with the experience, someone who has done the thing, and someone who we know has chemistry with those other players.
It's about rhythm. It's about chemistry. It's about learning and growing. What does Emma Hayes say? Dealing with the hard and being with the hard and making it look easy. She said a lot this camp.
Dessert, cookies,
cookies,
Michelin,
food, Michelin stars. Well, you two are my Michelin stars. Thank you so much for this awesome show. Recapping the U.S. They close out this window. They end up with the win in the 3-game series over Japan, a win in the first game and a win in a third game. Tonight it was 3-0 over Japan. Goals from Girma, Wesley, and Rose Lavelle on the third one. Thanks everyone so much for hanging with us. We appreciate you. If you're on Galazzo, YouTube, listening as a pod, thank you. We're going to be back Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, live right here on YouTube to preview NWSL. And we have UEFA Women's Champions League semifinal matchups, Ali and Dee. They'll be on all the coverage. So come back here so you can preview it before we get to the games on the weekend. Thanks everyone so much for hanging with us. Have a great weekend. For Ali, Darian, Phil, and Audrey, and Lisa, this was Attacking Third.